Hi everyone, Brittany here from penniesintopearls.com. Thanks for checking in to find out how to make one of these super unique palette picture holders. I made each of these for less than $3, so make sure to check out my blog for more details on how you can make one for super cheap. So let's get started. So the very first thing you are going to want to do is pick out which pieces of wood you want to use. When picking which pieces to use, try to find pieces as close to the same width, but more importantly, you're going to want to find pieces that are close to the same depth. That way they can all lay as parallel as possible and flat. Alright, so once you've decided on which pieces to use, you'll need to cut those pieces so they're all the same length. It might even be cute if you cut these at different sizes. You're not going to line them up like I did in this tutorial, but you could stagger them a little bit, and I think that would just add to the rustic charm of it. But since my pieces were a little bit shorter and I didn't have much wood to work with, I decided to cut them all the same length. One of my favorite things about using this distressed pallet wood is that it doesn't need to look perfect. The whole charm of using this wood is that it's not brand new and it already has so much character on its own. Alright, so now that we have all our pieces the same length and we've got them all lined up, you're going to want to start drilling, but make sure you have the good side of the wood down. So that's the side that you're going to be having shown in your home. So have them all laying good side down and the final order that you want them connected together. Since pallet wood comes in all different shades, try to place the dark and light pieces alternating throughout the piece. That way you don't have like dark pieces on one side and light pieces on the other. So now taking your two smaller pieces that you have cut for the backing, place them perpendicular to the longer pieces of wood. This is what you're going to use to connect all the pieces together. So now you can make sure that all the wood is lined up parallel. You don't want them slanting, but you have a nice 90-degree angle, I guess you could say, and it's not slanted, and you can start drilling. You're going to drill one screw into each section of the board, so hopefully that makes sense. So you have your perpendicular piece of wood, your vertical pieces of wood all lined up, one screw per each board going along your perpendicular piece of wood. Now that we've drilled across our top perpendicular piece of wood, we're going to start doing that across the bottom piece. So we're just going to repeat that same step for the second short piece of wood backing. While you're screwing all these pieces together, try to keep the boards as tight and close together as possible. Some spaces in between the wood is going to look cute and just add to the charm of this pallet wood, but hitting gaps that are too wide is going to look not so great, and you don't want your boards to start getting slanted. Alright, so now you can turn it over and take a peek. You finished the biggest part of the project. So how does it look? What do you think? So now you're ready to add the hanging kit. You can find this kind of picture hanging kit at any hardware store. When you're out shopping, make sure to pay attention to the weight limit that's posted on the package. I used a 50-pound wire since mine were a little heavier, and a 10-pound limit was the only other option I had at the store, so it's better safe than sorry. Decide where on the back you would like to place your hanging wire, but make sure to place it on the backing horizontal piece and not the vertical wood pallets. The reason is this is going to be the strongest point of the board. You will want to make a pilot hole by using a drill bit that is smaller than the size of the eye screw. Make one hole on each side of the board. Next, you could add in the eye screws by hand. I found it easiest to start threading it in by hand, but to finish by using a screwdriver placed through the eye and using it as leverage. Next up, you are ready to cut a piece of your wire. You'll want to cut the wire at least 2 to 3 inches longer on each side. Loop the wire through each end and tightly twist the wire around itself to finish. Try to keep the wire as tight as possible, and when twisting, keep that twist as tight as possible as well. Okay, so the very last thing you're going to need to do is attach your easel clip. I actually decided to paint mine an off-white color, and I did that just by spray painting them, but you might want to just leave them as is. Once they're dry, using your drill, screw the clip into the top center of your board. Don't forget to put your washer down with your screw so that way the screw doesn't just pop up through the clamp hole. So that's it. You can hang it up in your house and start displaying some super cute pictures of you and your family. I love how these turned out. They're super rustic and chic, and not to mention that the entire project only cost me about $3. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more frugal and fabulous projects and tips. Talk to you guys soon.